I'm hearing
Thanks for the,
yeah, I know hearing
okay, yeah, man. Give thanks for the nostalgic journey, the itinerary of His Majesty from Trinidad, the 18th to the 21st, the 21st to the 24th in Jamaica, and then on to Haiti. I see you give a little clip with Haiti too, That one was dramatic, with Francois Papa Doc de Valier,
mm.
you know. Yeah, man, that bring back a lot of memory because he was born in an island called Inagua in Bahamas, you know.
Inago? Inago?
Inagua, Inagua,
How you spell that?
that would be I-G-A-U.
I-N-G.
Yeah,
Inagua?
yeah, Inagua. It's an iguana. It's
All
one
right.
of the iguanas of the Bahamas that the island is named after. But Dr. Francois Devalier was born on that island.
Okay.
Yeah, and he really was something to,
Well, I wonder
he give he,
that brother, I hear he been villainized in the Western and thing. I'm wondering, I know if you're from Bahamas, if you could tell me something about Papa Doc, or, Francois Duvalier.
well, Francois Devalier had a name all to himself, as a dictator. And I know that with the situation in Haiti, it's hard for any Haitian ruler to really become a hero simply because of the situation with the French charging the Haitian people.
One talk, man.
Yeah, yeah, man. With the French government charging Haiti and all its colonies, even though Haiti was independent and freed himself, 85% of the revenue had to be given to France, So
Mm-hmm.
anyone who took power was just shadow boxing, And the value, he had his Tom McCoot, and he challenged His Majesty. It's the only country that His Majesty only spent one day. He never spent overnight the way he spent overnight in Jamaica and Trinidad. He went straight on to Brazil after Haiti, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so do give thanks for this whole journey of reasoning and nostalgic review of His Majesty itinerary within the Caribbean, because it's historic and it's relevant to our unity, And I would like to have also the document. I never saw it online, where he addressed the Trinidadian Parliament, because when he addressed the Jamaican Parliament, his throne speech, he offered a seat in the AU in the OAU, but that seat was never occupied simply because one country couldn't really uh, take the seat. This is why the federation was really very important for the other nations to rally behind Jamaica with the seat of the observer seat in the OAU, but it was never used, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we give thanks for this journey. It bring back a whole lot of foundational uh, things that was put in place. Now it's time for I in the sixth region of the diaspora. I guess that we have no much voice in the AU. If you see what they did to Her Excellency Arakana Chiambori Koi,
Mm.
and she is from the land, Zimbabwe, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, I think Esther Stanford Jose did a great work in England with PACO, the Pan-African Reparation Organization or Coalition of Europe. That's the acronym PACO.
Who's the individual we mentioned there, brother?
That's Esther Stanford Jose. She usually have a march every August 1st. Strong Pan-African sister. She was trying to set up a parliament in England, the Pan-African People's Parliament, because she realized a long time that the AU has a lot of puppet leaders who can't stand up to France, who can't stand up to the Chinese, who can't stand up to these nations that are exploiting Africa. So this is significant what you're doing by allowing other Rasta groups, Rastafari groups, and Pan-African groups to really have a forum that we can flush out our issues, and we could form an alliance and eventually have a voice, simply because the CARICOM, as I said, they proceeded to do what the Federation was supposed to do. But there are still nations in the CARICOM bloc that is siding with America. You see the other day, Pompeo visit Jamaica, and Barbados didn't send a representative, nor did Antigua. I don't think St. Lucia nor St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because they have different views.
Right.
All right, and they were not siding with going against Venezuela.
Right.
All right, because that was the whole thesis of that meeting. Okay,
Right.
and earlier when some of the nations were called into a conference in America. Who was it? Antigua Prime Minister, he lick out against that Gaston Brown.
Gaston Brown, he's a good soul.
Yeah, he's a good man. He's a good man. He did enough for the Rastafari movement in Antigua, you know, by giving him a school, and he gave one license for the whole group for the ganja industry.
Right.
All right, and he is like your namesake is closely associated with Rastafari because he grew up in the Rastafari community, and that's why he has such love for Rastafari. But again I give thanks, you know, to sit out through the whole thing and really absorb the positive vibes, you know. Yeah, and I know.
I give thanks for that, because when you introduce yourself, you say that you're chairman of an organization in Bahamas.
Yes, that is House of Rastafari Intermansion Collective. We are a group of Bobo Ashanti, Nyabingi, Ethiopian Orthodox, non-aligned, Hebrew, and so forth, you know, and a few Pan-African brethren also gather with us, you know, when we have.
So how much persons in all your gatherings and things, how much persons your organization may represent, if it was to say?
Well, we have a gathering of about I'd say about 80 altogether. We have a WhatsApp group. Our sister who visit us from New Jersey, Kaya Fire. Um, she visited us. She visited one of our meetings, one of our reasonings also. When during the hurricane relief, when we put out some ads for help with our hurricane relief, she came in and she worked with the Red Cross and did some amazing work,
Yeah, man.
with us. So we do give thanks for Trinidad, as John Henry Clark say, Trinidad is the bastion of the Pan-African movement. All right, because you have Anthony um, um, Martin, Dr. Tony Martin.
Tony
You
Martin.
have CLR James. You have Kwame Ture, Stockley Michael. You have some very outstanding Pan-Africanists that came from Trinidad, but most of all, Dr. Henry Sylvester Williams, who started who coined the phrase Pan-African, and
Yes.
had the first gathering in England in 1900. So, and following the movement, I'm a descendant of Dr. Edward Wilmot Blyden, who came from St. Thomas, the Virgin Islands. All right, and he was also very instrumental in the Back to Africa movement also. So I do give thanks to be a part of the group still, and you will be seeing and hearing from me, and we'll be making some contacts.
Yes, I. Yeah, man. Well, yeah, that's for sure. Because right now, inside the reasoning here is a brethren who's the secretary of the Trinidad Old Mansions, the Rastafari group, Bongo Grease.
Okay,
So I want Bongo Grease come in and say a couple words still, my brother. If you're listening, I see you now unmute yourself.
give thanks.
Bongo Grease, you here, and I ain't sure if the brethren hearing, but I myself is a research officer in the All Mansions of Rastafari in Trinidad and Tobago. So I do
Sure,
research and do little groundworks and things whenever we having functions. We just do certain events on certain days. You know what I mean? If we had some cannabis rallies. We organized 3 cannabis rallies.
sure,
We do some things, family days and certain things like that within Port of Spain and them kind of vibes.
sure.
Try to deal with intermansion reasoning and them kind of vibes there within locally. But part of the goal of the organization is also to link with similar like-minded ones regionally and create the link there, you know what I mean? So it's a good thing that you're tuning in and whatnot. And yeah, and if you could even tell your brethren and them on your end, say, come in and talk their part and different things too, you know what I mean? Because it's not no, like it's one man talk, if it's a whole community and everybody could get a chance to speak their part too, you know what I mean?
Truly. Yes, the other brethren, he is a part of the group too. The other brethren from the Bahamas that introduced himself.
Mikey.
Jamiki. He is also co-chair, and he's been instrumental in doing some works along with the Intermansion. Yeah. So we also have a Indaba project in the Bahamas too. That has been actively involved with the Intermansion. We have other Pan-African groups like Coptic Church of the Black Messiah, African People's Socialist Party. We usually come together in May, on May 25th, or sometime we do it before or after the date because we don't want to conflict with the mansions when they have their celebration. So we do a commemoration.
Yeah, man.
You know, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So we basically for the same thing. You know, I missed the last one, the previous one, but I say I couldn't afford to miss this one. You know.
Mm. Respect
Yeah,
that.
man.
Respect that.
We
What
do.
time it is across by you then?
I didn't hear you.
What time it is across which party I do?
It's already 12:25 a.m.
So yeah, well, we're on the same time, man. We're on the same time. We're in the same
Naturally,
time. Yes, sir.
naturally. Yeah.
Mm.
And we on a lockdown too, you know. I also teach I teach art and design, creative craft. I used to teach carpentry at the same school, the only Afrocentric school in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, a Kefren
Mm.
International Academy, you know.
All right. Respect that, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
So what about what's the situation with the lockdown and the COVID across there now?
well, I mean, it's a global thing, you know. We just adjusting to the situation of the social distancing and the quarantine, and I guess it's a global mandate, you know.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And because I live in the capital, the province, Nassau, Bahamas, it's a small island of almost 250,000 people on one little small island of about 21 by 7
Mm-hmm.
miles, you know.
It
And
packed.
yeah, compact, and there's a lot of clusters. So
Mm.
for that reason, they're trying to, as they call it, flatten the curve and all of that kind of thing. But the outer islands, because the Bahamas comprise of 700 islands and keys, you know.
700 islands you see in a Rasta.
Yeah, 700 islands and keys. Some of them are just small rock. Some of them are just keys with a few goats and trees,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and some again are large islands, like Andros, the largest island. The islands to be affected by Doreen would have been Grand Bahama and Abaco. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have 20 major islands that is basically inhabited, and then some of the keys, like the rich people come in and purchase them and build their little getaway, you know.
Right. So
Yeah,
20
yeah,
islands is have people. So how
yeah.
did it govern? How they governing that like one country and it's so much different little places?
Well, it's the same. It's the same. British Commonwealth. You know, there's a movement now for my republic. Uh, we want to see the Westminster system put to rest. You know,
Mm.
and but there's not much natural resources like how Trinidad have oil,
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica have bauxite, and a lot of arable land to invest in agriculture. The majority of our land is built up of limestone, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so tourism and banking and that type of thing has been the number one and two industry. So with the
That it means
COVID-19,
yeah, the island.
yeah, the whole economy is collapsed.
So what the grassroots man and the common man is what's the main money making enterprise they might involve themselves in? If you don't know how to agriculture.
A lot of the grassroots man is tradesman, you know, in the construction industry. Like my brethren, Jamiki, he is a computer engineer. All
Okay.
right, most of them are tradesmen, and you have an increasing number of us now who are going into farming,
right.
Agriculture. You have some of our brethren who are into fishing, because we have a lucrative fishing industry with all that water in between and the islands. We have good fishing grounds. Yeah, so you'll find that now that the economy has collapsed, people will be returning, because originally we were fishing and farming territory, but with the advent of the tourism thing, when Cuba closed down, the Bahamas kind of capitalized on the tourist industry. So it brought a lot of money, but they kind of put all their eggs in one basket. So now that this COVID-19 coming into play, you find that they want to look now with going forward to the going forward to the original fishing village and agriculture.
Right, because once your whole economy based on the tourism and the situation here now, everything gonna mash up one time.
Mash up. Yeah.
I noticed is a Bobo Ashanti.
Most natural.
And did that tradition, how it spread in the island in Bahamas?
Well, in the Bahamas, the Bobo Ashanti is the predominant Rastafari mansion, because for some reason, I think it's probably the only place that I know of where Bobo Ashanti is the predominant mansion. All right. Unlike most places that I know, Theocracy and all of the Nyabingi is the more predominant house.
Well, in Trinidad, it's 12 tribe house is the biggest house in Trinidad.
12 tribe. Okay. Yeah.
And is that ancient? Come and bring it there. How long the house in Bahamas?
I didn't hear you.
How long the house in Bahamas established?
Which one? The Bobo Ashanti?
Bobo Ashanti.
Well, the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress was established in around 1983, when two priests from the foundation in 10 Mile Boat Bay came in and established a branch, the first Bahamas branch. And from there it grew. After a little while, the first branch was closed down and the ambassadors were recalled. And it wasn't until the centenary in 92 you find that it was restored and revived. But you still had a lot of Bobo Ashanti that were on the foundation in 10 Mile Boat Bay. You had a Priest Akil. I don't know if you know Priest Akil.
You heard the name before.
Yeah, Priest Akil. He was there. He even visited the Bahamas branch in the early 80s when it was established. But in Bull Bay, you had a amalgamation of all the Caribbean nations and Bobo Ashanti that were coming in from America and Africa and Europe there at the foundation. So it was really, if you really look at it, the 15th of April is also the anniversary, the 108th anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic.
This April, April 15th will now come here?
Yeah, April 15th, when Kwame and Nkrumah called the unity on 58. Yeah. All right, but that is also I don't know if that was a coincidence or he chose a date when the Titanic went down, because that was significant that white supremacy got a lick, you know. The White Star Liner, and Marcus Garvey formed the Black Star Liner, you know, in contrast to the White Star Liner, you know. And a captain from the Bahamas was the admiral of those ships, Joshua Cockburn, all right, of the Black Star Line. And we also had Dr. Love from the Bahamas, who was one of Marcus Garvey's mentors, all right, Dr. Robert Joseph Love.
What was his love study?
Love was a minister. He had a doctorate degree in, he had a medical doctorate degree, and he had a doctorate degree in theology. But he started out as an Anglican priest, and then he, as he became more conscious, he dropped the Anglican and he went and studied the priesthood of the African Methodist Episcopal, because you know the AME, the African Methodist Episcopal, like Henry McNeil Turner and Alexander Comel, and a lot of those other great African nationalists were very instrumental in the abolition movement.
As you mentioned, the Methodist tradition. Within my certain, I was looking into certain things. Even the Bobo Ashanti come in, have some Methodist like influence into the tradition.
I don't think so. I think the UNIA. No, the UNIA. I know what you're talking about. In terms of the hymn, the hymnals and ancient, modern, and see, there's a glitch in that, you know. You see, Daddy Emmanuel give the clearance for brethren them to write their own hymn. As you know, Marcus Garvey had a choir master from Barbados. His name would have been Arnold Josephus Ford.
Arnold Ford, the Hebrew Israelite.
Hebrew Israelite, because you know, all of, like the brethren Jamark was saying, all of the big groups that is established today came out of the UNI.
Yeah.
They came and Ford and Beryl, they wrote the national anthem, Ethiopia, the land of our fathers, and they wrote a lot of hymns for the African Orthodox. But the African Orthodox was from AME Zion. The African Orthodox was led by Alexander Maguire. Alexander Maguire was the Archbishop of the State Church of the UNIA, because what Marcus was putting together as a model of a nation.
Okay.
All right.
So what was that brother name?
Alexander Maguire. He was the Archbishop of the African Orthodox, because Dr. Love was actually one of the architects of the UNIA. All right, and he even sent Garvey to link with what's his name? He had a good relationship with Booker T. Washington, all right, from Tuskegee, and also he had a good relationship with Maguire, because he came out of the Anglican and went into the African Methodist Episcopal, but they wrote their own hymns. Dada Emmanuel gave the clearance also for the brethren them in the Congress to write their own hymns, but they refused. and they hold on to the same thing, and today some of our people still are stuck with this. But now you find a new generation. There's a lot of brethren who came up under my influence, and I was able to write your own chorus, write your own hymn. I know a brethren who have wrote a book of 100 hymns and chorus right now.
Yeah, man.
So eventually that will vanquish. But there were a lot of people who were stuck into colonialism and who couldn't drop the white supremacy. When Dada gave the clearance for them to write their own hymns, the way how Ford and Beryl was writing hymns 100 years ago. You know?
I get a piece of, I hear a piece, I see a piece of history on Ford, and they say that he actually attended the coronation ceremony of His Majesty.
Yes, you're right. He took the anthem, Ethiopia, the land of our fathers, as a gift from Gavi or from the UNIA to His Majesty. His Majesty received it and had the British band rehearse it in 24 hours to play it for the coronation. You know, so this thing about Marcus and His Majesty with the conflict, yes, there was some frictions.
Yeah.
But Gavi sent his choir master to the coronation.
I don't know if I can reckon, but it have a brother named Wentworth who was, but him and Ford went with a contingency to Ethiopia to and participate in His Majesty coronation, right? But then I believe they went and visit the Beta Israel.
Beta Israel, yeah, you're right. He adopted a son too.
He adopted
Ford adopted a son.
But I didn't even know history.
Yeah,
but he got a like a official charter to bring the Black Hebrew Israelite faith back to the West and establish that kind of school of thought. So
that's why he adopted a son and brought him back to, you know, and established the African Hebrew Israelites. But like your namesake was saying too, the Greeks didn't stop until they infiltrated Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. The Greeks they didn't stop because they were responsible for the translation of the Septuagint, which is the Old Testament, and the New Testament, the Greek New Testament. And they try to get their hands somewhere involved with the Quran to a certain extent. Not to a greater extent, but to a certain extent. They didn't stop until they tried to infiltrate all of the Abrahamic religions. You know, and when you look at Ethiopia, the Greeks still try to have some influence. It wasn't for His Majesty to really put aside the Egyptian Coptic. At his coronation, he established the Ethiopian patriarch and a bonus to crown him. But all of the other kings would have been crowned under the Egyptian a bonus.
Well, that part there, Bobo, I ain't sure, you know, because I think in His Majesty he negotiate with the Coptic patriarch in Alexandria to get autonomy for the Ethiopian church.
That's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. I say if it wasn't for His Majesty, he is the one who established autonomy.
I hear in the eye, but what I'm saying is I believe in like that was more in like the 50s. That's what I'm thinking. Somewhere around there. I ain't think it was as early as 1930 within the coronation period. I'm not sure.
Yes, 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 yes. His Majesty was the first emperor to be crowned under an Ethiopian autonomous who
Mm-hmm.
didn't answer to they might have made it official in the 50s. All right. But His Majesty made the Ethiopian Orthodox an autonomous uh, entity that didn't have to answer to the patriarch in Alexandria.